How's it going, everyone? I'm Adam Molina. We recently took a look at the JBL Flip 3, but that wasn't the only speaker that the company announced. The other being the much larger and way more expensive JBL Xtreme, aka the Flip 3 on steroids. It's basically a Flip 3 and shares many of the same features, but in a much larger form factor. Did we already mention it's big? Anyway, the big question is this worth 3 times the asking price of the Flip 3? Let's find out. Opening the box is kind of like unboxing a party, literally. After that, you'll pull out the Xtreme, the wall adapter, the warranty information, and something we haven't seen before, a shoulder strap to carry it around with you. The best way to describe the JBL Xtreme would be to say it's a giant Flip 3 with a few extra perks. The speaker is also wrapped in a splash-proof fabric that gives it a really nice feel in the hand, but we doubt you'll be holding it most of the time because it's simply too big. That's where the two metal hooks on either end of the speaker come into play. Simply attach the shoulder strap to them and voila, instant portable party power. Just like the Flip 3, the Xtreme has external dual passive radiators that, because of the larger size of the speaker, do work on the low end. Up top, you'll find all the buttons including the Bluetooth pairing button, volume down, power button, JBL Connect button, volume up, and a play/pause button. Besides the overall size, the biggest difference you'll find in design between the Xtreme and the Flip 3 are found on the bottom of the speaker, where it has a hard plastic stand built into it. Even though I'm sure it can still be oriented vertically, this makes it pretty clear that JBL intends you to place the speaker horizontally while using it. It's also where you'll find the small indicator lights that let you know roughly how much battery life is left. Also on the bottom is a bright orange zipper that, when peeled back, reveals a service button, aux in, the power input for charging, and 2 USB outputs to charge your devices. Connectivity on the JBL Xtreme is good, but not great. Though it does have a solid connection and we didn't experience too much skipping when testing out the range, there was a fair amount of stuttering when there was a wall or two in the way. It was nothing too serious, but it happened often enough that we felt it was worth mentioning. There's also a pretty significant lag at the start of every song. It's not a lot, but it's enough to ruin your favorite intro for sure. JBL packed an insanely large 10,000 mAh battery into the Xtreme and claim a battery life of 15 hours. In our testing, we got closer to 14 hours, but that's still very good considering how loud this thing can get when you max out the volume. One thing that's very annoying about the JBL Xtreme is the previously mentioned stutter at the beginning of every song. It only lasts about a second or two, but the damage is already done. Besides that, the JBL Xtreme works pretty much exactly how we expected it to. Pretty damn good. Another interesting feature we got to test out was the JBL Connect button, which lets you connect and sync multiple JBL speakers together. We paired the Xtreme with the Flip 3 and were very impressed. They were perfectly in sync and you can easily achieve surround sound without even needing to go through an app. The lows sometimes do bleed into the lower mids, but for the most part, the passive external radiators on either side do an amazing job with keeping the low end tight. It could just be the larger size, but the bass was easy to distinguish even in songs that don't have a lot of it. That said, people who prefer songs with tons of bass won't be disappointed either. The smooth bass line in All I Want Is You by Miguel sounded close to perfect to me. Vocals in the mids were very clear and seemed to coexist peacefully with most guitars and synths. A good example of this is in The Suffering by Coheed and Cambria, which has fairly heavy and melodic guitar parts throughout that never get in the way of the lead vocals. Unfortunately, not everything is perfect, and the highs do tend to have a good amount of harshness. Luckily, the Xtreme gets really loud, so lowering the volume a little to get rid of the harshness doesn't cost you too much in terms of enjoyment. Hate or Glory by Gisaffelstein is almost impossible to enjoy fully because the already prominent hi-hats toward the end of the song seem to be given a boost, making them a little painful to the ears. I'm sure this won't be an issue if you're using the speaker outside, but if you happen to be in a closed room or standing close to it, it's not too enjoyable. Still a great song though. Overall, the JBL Xtreme is pretty awesome. If you can overlook the stutter at the beginning of the songs and have a thing for really loud tunes, this might be for you. Still, before you go and drop $300 on a speaker, you might want to consider the real-world applications of something like this. For example, one that I could see this being used for is tailgating. Football season is upon us, and the fact that this is splash-proof and can be carried around by a strap makes it pretty much perfect for the situation. But if you just want something for your room, you're probably better off getting a JBL Flip or 2 and connecting them with the new JBL Connect button. We're giving the JBL Xtreme an 8.8 out of 10. Well, that's about it for our review of the JBL Xtreme, or this guy. If you want to know more, check out the full written review over at SoundGuys.com. While you're here, give us a couple thumbs up, let us know we're doing a good job. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel so you can keep up to date with all the newest reviews and audio news here at SoundGuys. Links to both in the description down that way. I'm Adam Molina. I'll see you later.